In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that former presidents have immunity from prosecution for official acts committed while president, but not for unofficial acts. What does this mean? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a blockbuster, a groundbreaking, a very important decision reached by the U.S. Supreme Court. They have ruled that former presidents, and in this case, obviously, it's referencing Trump, but not just him. Any former president has immunity from prosecution for official acts done while they were president, but not for unofficial acts. So this is going to put a big spear, a big nail in the tire of Jack Smith's case against Trump. The January 6th election interference, whatever they want to say. It's going to kind of put the kibosh on that. And ultimately, it most likely won't happen because there will be so much rigmarole, so much back and forth trying to figure out what's an official act, what's an unofficial act. So much court action that it'll probably push any kind of trial past the November deadline. And I'm saying deadline is kind of an unofficial thing because I think the objective here is to get Trump tried and convicted and locked up before the election to discourage the voters from voting for him. Now, before we get to the video, I just want to make it crystal clear, just really clear, a little bit of education. You only got to have 3 qualifications to become the president in the USA. The same qualifications that Trump met in 2016 when he became the president after being elected. Just 3, 35 years old, 14 years in the USA, natural born citizen. That's it. You could be a felon. You could be in the penitentiary making big rocks, little rocks. You can still become the president, but the general public may not know that, and the federalists are trying to play on their perceived ignorance. So they're going to do stuff like this. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual news clips here. And of course, I will link to everything in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
The United States Supreme Court ruled former President Donald Trump is entitled to some immunity in his election interference case.
However, the justices ordered lower courts to figure out how precisely to apply their decision to Trump's case. The High Court ruled 6-3 today that Trump may claim immunity from criminal prosecution for his official acts, but not his private conduct.
Now, let's pause right here. So the official act term, again, what does that mean? I think there'll be quite a bit of squabbling, a lot of back and forth in the lower court to figure out what fits where to try and just get Trump out of the way. Because as we all know, this is lawfare. They know they can't win fair and square. So they got to try to do all this foolishness and chicanery to get him out of the way.
This decision will likely further delay a trial on the federal election subversion charges pending against the former president.
ABC's Perry Russum joins us now live just outside the U.S. Supreme Court. So, Perry, we know this is a complex ruling, and it has major implications for the upcoming election.
Right, and former President Trump is calling this a win, a big win for our Constitution and democracy. Special counsel Jack Smith, the prosecutor in this case, declined to comment.
In a 6-3 decision from the Supreme Court, the justices issuing a hybrid ruling on the case of presidential immunity, while ruling the president has absolute immunity for core constitutional powers. With the opinion of the court, Chief Justice John Roberts writes, the president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts, and not everything the president does is official. The president is not above the law.
Well, that's what we just said, but that's going to be the question. What's official? What's unofficial? That's the question.
In dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor writes, it makes a mockery of the principle foundation to our Constitution and system of government that no man is above the law.
A very big win for former President Trump, recognizing for the first time this sort of immunity of ex-presidents from criminal prosecution.
The decision stems from a January 6th election interference case where Trump faces 4 felony charges, including conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and obstruction of an official proceeding. It's tied to his alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump has pleaded not guilty. The Supreme Court asked to determine if Trump is immune from criminal prosecution. During oral arguments in April, the Department of Justice argued granting absolute immunity would put a president above the law. In a series of hypotheticals, Trump's legal team argued presidents should have absolute immunity for official acts.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
And that's kind of crazy. And that was Justice Sotomayor saying that, if you guys are not watching the screen. But that's really nuts. I mean, talking about an outlandish hypothetical.
Can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
And then the attorney says it would depend on the hypothetical. We can see that could well be an official act. Well, hold on. Matter of fact, can I go back a little bit here? Can we just talk about this for a second? It's crazy for her to say that, but when you delete people like Osama bin Laden and you go on TV and brag about it, what's that? Okay, like, it's national security. Okay, cool, but can I get immunity from that? Like, if I just go out there and delete somebody randomly because they may be a threat to the community, can I do that? But if you are, engaging in war tactics or things of this nature, you could do pretty much whatever. Now, that's that. I'm going to leave that right there. There's more, but this is a response from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, who, by the way, has 13 million followers on Twitter, which is crazy. She says the Supreme Court has become consumed by a corruption crisis beyond its control. Today's ruling represents an assault on American democracy. It is up to Congress to defend our nation from this authoritarian capture. I intend on filing articles of impeachment upon our return. So she wants to impeach Supreme Court justices. Is that even a thing? Is that possible? And I did fact check this. This is on her page, on the official AOC page. You could go in there right now, probably. By the time you hear my voice, the tweet should still be up. Go check it out. All right. And I think there's more here. Oh, Joy Reid. Let's see what Joy Reid has to say about the whole situation. Okay. Some of you guys is friend from MS-13 DNC. Let's check it out.
This election is no longer about the old guy that's in the White House now. Like, all the op-ed pages and the New York Times can run around and opine about, what Joe Biden should do. And, y'all have fun with that. Enjoy yourselves, intellectual thought leaders. I no longer care. Doesn't matter to me anymore. It's above me now. It's above me now. There's a Waffle House next door. There's a Best Western next door as well. It's above me now. It's above Joe Biden now.
I don't understand.
Don't care about Joe Biden's age, infirmity, that he shuffle when he walk. I don't care. He could be seated for the rest of from now to election day and never get up off a chair. He could sit down. He could roll around in a wheelchair. He could be on a skateboard, seated. I don't care.
And why don't you care? I'm trying to figure out why you don't care. You think that is all? Are you a doomer at this point? You got the black pill. What's happening?
Donald John Trump cannot be allowed back into the White House.
Oh, so basically you're saying it doesn't really matter. This guy could be on his deathbed, right? He could be in the whole wheelchair, barely able to talk, having the Christopher Reeves type situation going on. You don't really care about that as long as Donald Trump doesn't get in there. Okay, so you are encouraging elder abuse because of your hatred or your dislike, I should say, of someone else. Okay, that makes sense. Let's keep on going here.
Because if you combine that madman with this court, two of whose members are insurrectionists, one of whom flew an upside down flag at his home and blamed it on his wife, who's also crazy. The other of whom's wife literally was part of the insurrection, and they ruled in this. They put themselves in the Leonard.
I mean, I'm tired. I'm just kind of tired. I'm gonna leave this right here. You get the idea. She's upset, talking about the Supreme Court. So now we're attacking the Supreme Court. Right? But ultimately, the Supreme Court is often the scapegoat because the legislative branch cannot create laws to make sure this country is on the same page. Okay, so now you're relying upon the Supreme Court to do what your job is as a legislator, as a lawmaker. Okay, people that you put in office that you vote for, you don't vote for Supreme Court justices, but you do vote for legislators. So what are they doing? Relying upon the Supreme Court and the people that you hold in high regard, your Jack Smith and whatnot. What are they doing? Now, let's see this here.
Justice Sotomayor, joined by Justice Kagan and Justice Jackson, the court's three liberals. As we were saying, it's fiery. I just thought I will give you some examples.
Please.
Today's decision to grant former presidents criminal immunity reshapes the institution of the presidency. It makes a mockery of the principle foundational to our constitutional and system of government, that no man is above the law.
So that was from, I think, Sotomayor. We were hearing that earlier. But you see the decision, how it lines up. You see John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, all voted in the majority in the, affirmative. And then you have all the leftists, all women, by the way, Sotomayor, Lenny Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. They all vote against. Now, imagine if Trump wasn't in there. How would this look? It might be the other way around, and it might be the other way around for quite a few things, because Trump put in Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. And I think Biden was the one who put in Ketanji Brown Jackson. But that's a very important Supreme Court justice picks. And these people are on there for life or until they decide to retire, which a lot of times may not be until they pass away. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the Supreme Court for ruling properly, in my humble opinion, about the president, because really, former presidents, it was kind of an unwritten rule. Former presidents didn't get prosecuted. I mean, if anybody, who would, Nixon or somebody, they don't prosecute former presidents, not for this kind of ticky-tack stuff. I mean, look, if you got a body in the trunk, a body in the basement, you out here being you're being the Jack the Ripper in London and whenever that was, okay, that's a little bit different. But what are we talking about? We're talking about a speech where people got out of control and there was a small riot and you said be peaceful and go home and you weren't trying to encourage it. We're talking about the Stormy Daniels kerfuffle, some money that he paid to somebody who he had consensual relations with, allegedly. We're talking about that is enough to get somebody locked up. Be serious. This is political in nature, 1000%. And I hope that this ruling prevents this kind of thing from happening now with Trump and in the future with any other president, whether it be on the left or the right. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here with the Supreme Court decision? Is it the right thing, the wrong thing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is 100% the right thing to do. And I hope all these ticky-tack, bogus, ridiculous cases against Trump will get thrown out. And I hope we don't see this kind of thing happen again to any president. I don't even care if it was Biden. If Biden did something ticky-tack, I would not want to see him get locked up because I dislike him. I'm like, okay, that seems like it's kind of petty. Why charge him for that? All right, now, if you getting 10 from the big guy and you engaging in, straight up extortion, things like that, is a little bit different. But paying Stormy Daniels, having a speech where it got out of control, I'm just not a fan. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.